have been done, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Make the motion to approve.
Motion been moved and seconded. Is there any question? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Now it's time to administer the oath of office to the board members who were elected for this year. Mr. Brashear, am I saying that correctly? Mr. Manning, Mr. Armstrong, and the chair, Jimmy Towers. Do we do it from here or want us to go to the microphone? Okay. Join us at the podium.
Congratulations.
Debbie.
Okay.
So you get your pictures. Good afternoon. Congratulations. If you'd please raise your right hand and repeat after me. In the name and by authority of the state of Texas, I state your name. Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of Board Member, Central Texas College of the state of Texas, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state, so help me God. Congratulations. And I need you to sign. And as you would sign that, and I need those back. Mr. Armstrong.
Special people.
And I'll go first. Thank you.
Still special.
Need to invite the new members to the,
Just a
we
turn.
need to invite the new members to the dais.
This thing is not updating.
Do we invite them?
Yes,
Yeah.
you need to.
Yeah.
Tracy's trying to get your
You
attention.
can just adjourn this. I'm crowding you.
Adjourn the meeting.
Yeah, before we do that. Yeah.
Hey, I was waiting.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Now turn the page. Invite our two newest members of the board to join us.
Mr. Manning.
So tomorrow,
How you doing, man?
Welcome to the meeting.
While you two are still standing, the rest of us will stand as we prepare for this workshop meeting.
Looking forward to it.
Mr. Wilkinson, would you lead us in invocation?
Please join me in the prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for just being with us and guiding the students. Lord, we pray for wisdom and guidance. Pray for the new members that, Father, that you will help them to make wise decisions. And Father, as always, Father, continue to protect the students and staff and lead us and guide us. In your name we pray. Amen.
Mr. Armstrong, would you lead us, please, in the flag?
please join me in the pledge to our nation's flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please follow me in honoring the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the United States of Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible. Amen.
Amen. Thank y'all. Thank you for the many guests that we have had here today. There is also at this time an opportunity for anyone in the public to speak to the board for whatever information you request or for whatever knowledge you want us to have. We ask you to control your time to 3 minutes, please. Anyone wishing to do so? Seeing none and hearing none, we move to the Chancellor's report update.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to go a little bit out of order and begin with an introduction of our newest employee, Ms. Wendy Sled. Would you come forward? I'm going to share a few facts about her, and a little information, and then to the podium. And then I will give you an opportunity to say a few words. On May 1st, Ms. Wendy Sled assumed the role of Chief Marketing and Communications Officer here at Central Texas College. She has more than 4 decades of experience in professional communications, journalism, and public relations. Most recently, Wendy served as the Executive Director of Communications for Waco ISD. Prior to that, she led the Copperas Cove Independent School District's Communications Department for nearly a decade, where she earned statewide recognition for her strategic communication initiatives and storytelling expertise. A former military spouse for nearly 35 years, Ms. Sled's career includes roles across the United States and Europe, working in television, radio, newspapers, and magazines. She's also served as a political press aide on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C., as well as in Virginia and Oklahoma. Ms. Sled earned 140 State Texas School Public Relations Association awards, including 3 prestigious Crystal Awards, the association's top honor. Her journalistic achievements also include a regional Edward R. Murrow Award for investigative reporting, as well as honors from both Louisiana Teachers Unions for her reporting on public education. Her work has been featured nationally in Newsweek, CNN, and BBC. I believe in hiring hard and managing easy, and I think that's what we've done.
We'll let her decide whether the easy part. Welcome. Thank you for
Thank you.
coming. Would you like to share something with us?
I think Dr. Carter said it all pretty much, but I thank you for your confidence in me. Please know that I'll do my very best. I don't know how to do anything under 300%. And so that's what I will always give. And I hope that just since May 1st, you've noticed an uptick in our media coverage, both television and in the newspaper. And we will continue to do that. So I always say Central Texas College is a hidden gem. If we don't tell our own story, who is telling it? And so that's our responsibility. And all of us, including all of you, are ambassadors and spokespersons for this college. So please speak out, please speak often, and please be accurate. So thank you all.
I love it.
Next item, legislative update. On the federal level, the budget reconciliation, as you know, is under review. And so for us, our sector, community college sector, this is extremely important. Some of the proposed changes or proposals in that bill include deep cuts to federal funding for our students, particularly with Pell. So we'll continue to watch that closely and report back to you. At the state level, Senate Bill 2615, which hit our radar a couple of weeks ago following our last meeting, it relates to restricting remote work by employees of public institutions of higher education. You can only imagine the uproar that caused when you talk about online learning. So we have so many academic, and it's not distinctive to Central Texas College or unique to us, but we have many academic and workforce programs that are completely online. Not to mention, the some of the other business that we conduct online. And so this is huge. We have many faculty that do not even work in this state, let alone our region. So to ask those folks to come back to campus is virtually, and to work from main campus is virtually impossible. So of course it was met with much opposition. We've engaged TAC, and the CEOs are working with Ray Martinez, our CEO there, to determine whether or not we would provide any testimonial, but in the meantime, there was a meeting today and it was canceled. That wasn't the only item on the agenda, but it was canceled. In the meantime, community college presidents and chancellors such as myself, we have reached out to our legislators to let them know that this is a very bad bill and that the implications for all of us are significant. So we'll keep an eye on that and keep you updated. Senate Bill 1786, we've been talking about that all session. It will allow transfers to private and independent colleges and universities to count toward the community college finance outcome. And so that is currently on the governor's desk waiting for signature. Senate Bill 1569 relating to the availability of certain personal information, and Ms. Briggs, you can chime in at any time. Relating to the availability of certain personal information of a member of the governing board of an institution or CEO of an institution of higher education was sent to the governor on May 13th for signature. The goal of this bill is to enhance privacy protections for the board and for the CEO, college president or chancellor. Senate Bill 2529 raises the voting threshold. I think we talked about this a couple of meetings ago. It raises the voting threshold for local governments to approve certain tax rate increases and general bond obligation bond issuances. 60%, under this bill, 60% of the governing body is required to issue bonds, and 75% of the governing body is required to approve a tax rate that exceeds the voter approval rate. So those are the highlights for now. As you know, we're about to wrap up the session. There may be a special session afterwards, but we'll keep an eye on things and report back to you next week, which will be the last meeting that we have before the session ends. Let's see. Fiscal year 2026 budget update. Doug, you feel free to jump in at any time, but basically departmental budgets were, as we previously mentioned, were due on May 1st. So Doug, along with the administration, we are working through those expenditure requests to ensure that we have everything that we need. May not include everything that we want, but everything that we need. Appropriations, we're expecting to have that information by the end of this month. We don't have it now, so it's kind of difficult to do a comprehensive budget update at this time without that, as well as taxes. I do believe that Dr. Garrett's going to give, where's Dr. Garrett? Okay, there she is. She'll give us an update on enrollments for fall. But in terms of tuition revenue and planning for the budget, we will continue to do what we've done, and that's budget with a budget flat for that. We don't want to escalate those numbers unnecessarily and give an inaccurate picture of the budget. Of course, the goal is to present you with a balanced budget. So, Doug, do you have anything to add to that? Okay. Dr. Garrett.
She's not at her side seat.
Well, good afternoon, new board members. I'm Robin Garrett. I'm the Vice Chancellor of Academic and Student Success. The Chancellor asked me to just give you a quick little update on the summer session. We are 2 weeks out of starting. We have 2 weeks left of registration, and we have surpassed the 2023 enrollment numbers. So that's great news. And for the 2024, we're just under 500 enrollments. So we're going to definitely have plenty of time to surpass that. So we're looking really, really good for summer 1. Summer 2, it's still climbing. We're working on summer 2. And you had mentioned fall. We don't registration doesn't open till June for fall yet, so we don't have any numbers for that just yet. But we're excited about the 2 weeks left, and as you know, students tend to wait till the last minute. So we're very, very busy. We're in the throes of registration right now. Any questions?
Just a comment. I saw an article from a young lady, one of our students, and she was just addressing how her experience here had been so positive. That was just rewarding for me to know that some students still see us that way. And it also was a message to those that will be coming. I thought it was appropriately, appropriately timed for registration, where I don't know if any of you saw it or not, but you should look it up online. And Dr. Carter, you know her, because when I sent the article to you, you knew the name.
Yes.
So I just think that doing things like that and reminding students that this is a great place to start.
Yes.
It's affordable and all the things that we talk about. So that was great to see the article about that the other day.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Carter. Anybody questions for Dr. Carter? Next item is a new program. Ms. Martin? Had trouble finding you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tracy Martin from the Computer Information Technology and Systems Department, and I'm the department chair. So the two programs that we're asking your approval of is, the first one is Software Development and Programming. This is a AAS, or an Associate of Applied Science in Software Development and Programming. It's designed to prepare our students for entry-level careers in the dynamic and rapidly evolving field of software development. It'll provide a strong foundation in programming logic, software design, and application development. And they will gain some hands-on experience with industry-ready or industry-standard programming languages and develop tools and project methodologies. Some of the jobs that they'll be looking at right now in that field, it's expected to grow about 17% from 2023 to 2033. So it's a significant outpacing in the average growth for all the occupations. So let's see. The other program that we are asking approval for is, I'm sorry, it's two.
They're two separate agenda items.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Anyone have any question about the first item?
First time.
Yeah, I have a question. As I'm reviewing this, one, I think it's a great idea. If we're not thinking automation of computers, then we're decades behind the power curve, right? With regard to the advisory board,
Yes.
what I got from looking at that is it seemed like really Colleen and Fort Cavasso centric. And I'm just wondering if we need to reach out to any of our other local communities in like the ISDs or the local banks that have IT type responsibilities as well, to maybe pull some of those folks in to be advisors, and not only to gain from their knowledge, but to ensure that the various communities are also bought in to what we're doing and they know what we're doing. Sometimes you may wonder like, oh, what's CTC doing? Just like we may wonder, well, what's this town X doing? If we don't reach out and kind of pull them into what we do. And I'm all happy to recommend names and all that. I've cleared with a couple folks, hey, can I throw your name under the bus here? And one I haven't heard back from, but he doesn't live locally. He's a extended family member who's a white hat hacker.
Okay.
In a big high paying job. And he graduated college about 4 years ago, maybe.
I'd
So
be happy to entertain that. We do have a couple of people that are from Tritium, which is also in Tennessee too. So we have some people there too, but we haven't reached out to a lot of other people. So I'd be happy to take.
yeah,
those names.
I think it just maybe intuitively that it might be a good idea that we have this taxing base that we're a part of, and search within that taxing base so that they kind of get, oh, well, that's what CT is. This, my mortgage goes to this person too, or this entity. And when we invite them, then they kind of get the, oh, that's what we do.
Okay.
So that's my recommendation.
And
I'd
we'll
be
have
happy
we'll have to approve this program next week before you start doing some of that things.
Right. Thank you.
Ms. Martin, Dr. Clunis wants to add something.
Good afternoon. I just want to extend thank you for that observation. It's been something that we've been working on since I arrived 9 months ago. We are in the process of reimagining our employer engagement model completely.
Cool.
Trying to move away from the the advisory board model that's not as engaging, and creating tiers of partnership. We're piloting that right now. Ms. Martin's doing an amazing job with the launch of our IT Academy at Fort Cavazos. So you will be seeing that change and a more diversity and a deeper engagement level of the employers. And so I just want to make sure you were aware of the other things that we're working on broadly, even beyond her program, for
Sure.
all of instruction.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Will this also include maybe job placement at the end? That would be a tracking model to be able to track it.
Right, so we're looking at basically a bronze, silver, gold, and platinum level of engagement. And the higher the level of engagement, the more involvement, where when you're at the platinum level, you're doing apprenticeships and you're doing externships and things of that nature. If you're bronze, you may come in and do a panel with the class or that kind of thing. If you're at gold, you'll be doing projects with us in the classroom, supporting the curriculum. So we're really excited about it. I'm giving you all a preview, though we look forward to sharing that with you more.
I'm excited about that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else questions?
And my concern is the same concern I have about anytime we're implementing a new project, a new plan, a degree plan. Have you already, well, once we approve it, I'm assuming it will be approved. Is there an instrument with which you'll measure its success? And I've been saying this ever since I've been on the board. We have to eliminate programs that are not effective.
Sit close.
Yeah, sit down here. I'm not done with you yet.
You might as well stand.
I'm already- But we, like all institutions and all organizations, I need us to always look back, do a look back, a reflection on, is this program actually working? Are people or students enrolling in this program? Is there are there some changes that we need to make? But when the program when you're asking for approval, I'm just speaking for one board member, I would like to see us come with an evaluation plan already in place. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
With the job
Yes,
placement.
Dr.
So we already have an evaluation process in place. We have to have it to be accredited. What we want to work on, and the plan is to spend this next academic year. Basically, I've declared from my vantage point as the Vice Chancellor, a moratorium on new programs, except for the most urgent of programs based upon employer outreach, which will give us an opportunity to actually fully go through the process that we have in place to evaluate the effectiveness. I would like to see a report card that comes in that talks about completion, retention, how we're doing with the wages, because we could be graduating students, but if they're not getting a family sustaining wage, then that means that we still need to think about that. We don't want to graduate students where they don't have a job that pays well. So it's coming, and this next year is going to be a lot of work, but the academic leaders are up to the task. And I look forward to getting your feedback on the first report cards that will be coming to you and be available for future requests.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Cole. Anyone else? Okay, on the second item we'll be looking at for next week.
Okay, so that one is the data and software systems. This one is also an Associate of Applied Science, and its pathway is designed to equip individuals with the skills needed to manage, maintain, and secure data systems for businesses and organizations. It's more like a database kind of program where we're trying to teach them a little bit more about databases.
Questions? Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Next item on the agenda is contract renewal with Lot Vernon and Company. Mr. Barton.
Okay, the first renewal is with Lot Vernon. This will be the last option year on their contract. Very pleased with their services. I think everybody's familiar with them, and I would recommend that this be accepted next week at $74,000.
Any questions of this
How
item?
long will this extension last?
Say again.
We will have to go out, probably next December, January, we'll go out with another proposal to do this all over again.
Okay,
So this is their last year.
okay. Thank you.
Is there an opportunity? I've forgotten what we've done in the past. So is there an opportunity, if that's the only company that bids, do we have the authority to approve continuing to work with them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. There was a while back,
Mhm.
there was a federal law that tried to restrict that called Sarbanes-Oxley. And, but it was just a recommendation. And I tell you, one thing that the act missed was the experience of an ARP. And that's big time important. So we'll see who sends in a proposal when it comes time.
Anyone else? Thanks, you. While you're there, you have another contract renewal.
Yes,
Bank
this
of
was
America.
with Bank of America. Once again, pleased with them. And all three of these have signed this new statement that the state's requiring now regarding boycotting Israel, firearms, being a part of Sudan or Iran, and 4 other things that are required now. They've all these three have signed this statement. With Bank of America, I'm going to estimate this is going to be between 70 and 80,000 a year. I don't know because it depends on the transactions that we send through there. But we're pleased with their online system, their response to our request, and we're just real happy with it. So I would recommend that you approve this also.
Questions? And then with Hilltop Securities.
And with Hilltop, we've had a long, probably about a 5 or 6 year relationship with Hilltop. They advise me on what to buy. We don't ever sell anything, but it's mainly when we have available cash, what to buy, and then they serve as the broker on that. And this one will probably not go over 50. It'll probably be somewhere around 40, 35 to 40, but it depends on, it's another one of those depends on the size of the portfolio. There's a percentage that's applied to the portfolio. So I can't, there's not an exact number. But
So-
I'm going to guess to say between 35 and 40.
Are they the only vendor for this, or is there other?
This one is continuation.
Okay.
With this one and the Bank of America both, one of the things I like to do is try to get local as much as we can. And I'm sure there's a lot of machinations that drive us to use a larger firm like Bank of America or Hilltop. I believe they're out of Dallas or.
This firm that we deal with is out of Austin, and
Okay.
they're heavy in public funds.
Okay. I guess my thought, whether if there's a local capacity, I'd like to research those. Why not that versus why this too?
Okay.
And if it's the best thing going, then I'm good with it. I just want to make sure that we.
I believe it is right now.
Okay.
They understand our business. They understand our investment policy, and at this point in time, I think they are the best.
Okay.
And they also deal with a lot of other clients that are in public funds. With Bank of America, I'm not too sure how many banks out there can handle what we do.
Okay.
Just for the record, we've processed this before, and I've been in conversation with some of the local bankers, and that's exactly the right answer. Is that not many banks in the world can handle as much of a broad spectrum as we have, but.
Well, yeah, that's my education here for today.
The other thing
Appreciate
I would like, if I may, I'd like to add for the these 3 items that Mr. Barton is presenting, we followed the state's procurement process. So it's kind of like with our travel. For the last 20 years, only one company bids our travel. And very few people or companies bid these items, but we solicit these proposals in accordance with statute and our local policies. And that's what yields what we have before you today.
Anyone else? Questions, comments? Thank you, Doc. Ms. Jordan? Group term life insurance.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
I'm Holly Jordan, the Chief Human Resources Officer. And Ms. Coley mentioned earlier how CTC is a great place for students. It's also a great place for employees. And one of the things that makes this such a great place for employees is some of our benefits. And this is what I want to talk to you about this afternoon. And this is, we have been offering, the college has been providing life insurance to employees and to a group of retirees since 1970. And this is a request to continue that. This would be a new contract, a new 3-year contract with a new vendor. But it is, we issued an RFP and we received 2 responses. And this is a request to continue the coverage. Let me go over it a little bit with you. The life insurance for employees provides insurance up to 150, their salary up to 150,000, and then accidental death and dismemberment 2 times their salary up to 200,000. That coverage is relatively inexpensive for our employees. We have a group of retirees that we cover, and that price tag is a little higher, actually 3 times as much as the actually 4 times as much as the employees. But we do have 222 retirees that are covered on that. And we have a very small number of employees that are currently working with us that are eligible to continue that coverage. Because before my time in 1993, we realized the retiree coverage was pretty expensive, so we stopped it. So for many of us in this room, we're not eligible for that retiree coverage, but there's a few employees that have been with us prior to 93 that will get that upon their retirement. Let me give you a little, of the 222 retirees, the average age of our retirees is 79. And I don't know if you know that the average life expectancy is 78. So our retirees are doing good. They're enjoying a fruitful retirement. So
Thank you for that, Holly.
And so I am here today, or actually will be next week, to request a new contract with Oaks. It's a company that we've done a number of references on, and the service and the coverage is robust. So I will come to you next week requesting that. The total cost would be a little over 161,000, or a little over 160.
Questions?
What questions?
So these 222, we just carry them until?
Yes, yes.
What is the, I'm sorry, what is the amount of coverage that we carry them under?
It's 1 times their annual salary whenever they separated up to 100,000.
Okay. Because I know the state does it a little bit different.
Well, I will tell you what we implemented last, I guess in 22, was the same age reduction schedule as the state of Texas does.
Yeah.
So as our retirees get older, their benefits actually decrease, but that's the standard. Prior in 22, a couple of the insurance providers wouldn't even give us a quote because they said our reduction schedule was ridiculous. So we went with what the state of Texas.
Which is 5,000.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Other questions? Thank you, Holly.
Thank you.
They do 5,000 instead of 2.
Next item on the agenda is the presentation of a closed circuit surveillance camera. Ms. Lewis?
Hi, everyone. I'm filling in for Ms. Lewis. I'm
Thank you.
Melanie Bach. I'm the Dean of Career and Technical Instruction, for those of you who are new. As you might imagine, it's important to have video surveillance of the Child Development Center. And for some time, our cameras have not been fully functional. And so we're requesting to purchase a system that will work not only inside but outside as well, on playground equipment and inside where we can have sound and also the ability to reverse and see what's happened. It's an important thing. We've had a couple of instances where we've had strangers outside the fence line. We've had a couple of things thrown over the fence. So we want to be sure to protect students and above all the children. And that's our request.
I think you will remind us next week about the price. You know what it is offhand.
I believe it's just under $23,000.
Thank you. Anyone else? Questions? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is appointment of a board member to the CTC Foundation Board. General Reaver, you are representing the board.
Yes.
One.
And we have two places.
So the selection of a second place, can I offer this suggestion? Those of you who are current or new board members, if you are interested in being the second board member to serve with the foundation as well, give some thought to that. And next week, as we actually vote on that issue, if somebody steps up to volunteer, or if you have questions about what that means, you can speak with General Weaver after we get through. But it's our responsibility and our privilege to have two members of the board serve on the foundation as well.
Could I say one thing about it? The college picks up the tab for the foundation. It's one of those unique things that we have. So the college director is a college employee, not a foundation employee. And the idea there is it gives us more flexibility to give out more scholarships for students. And that's what we're here for, is to bring in students. So an obligation you have as a elected board member to also serve simultaneously on the foundation board is you're expected as an individual to donate $1,000 a year or arrange to have $1,000 donated for your cause. Now, some of you have been on the board before, so you understand what I'm talking about. It's not cheap, but on the other side of the coin, it's a dedication that you're willing to serve and you're willing to help the college. So just keep that in mind. It's all volunteer. You don't get reimbursed for it, okay?
Amen.
You get a good meal. That's worth it.
I'll ask the chancellor for a memory. What was the round number total of scholarships was given out this year through the foundation?
Just over, I think it was 314.
314.
I was going to say 316, but it was over $300,000. And if I can plug shamelessly, the portal will reopen on June 15th for 30 days because we have in excess of $100,000 net revenue from our fundraising events.
Good place to put it. Plug in. Rex, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Next item on the agenda from our attorney, Ms. Briggs, the board document revision. Just to set the story straight for the rest of you that we as a board have decided that we need to go through our board documents and revise them or at least evaluate them. And so we have assigned our attorney to test us or inform us.
Challenge accepted, sir. So as you mentioned, we'll start going through the board policies. There are 23 board documents on the website. The first thing, and you'll notice it in this first one I'll go over, when you go through those documents, they're not all policies. Some of them are resolutions. So for example, when you pass the budget or when you pass the tax rate, those are done as resolutions. And those aren't policies that need to be reviewed in this process. So in the sense that it's a little confusing the way that they look on the website, what Dr. Carter and I have spoken about is to divide them into two columns, to have policies on one side and resolutions on the other. So if anyone has any objections to that, let me know, but that's the intent going forward. So knowing that, and there are 23 documents listed now, we won't review all 23 because the budget document, as I said, the tax document, you recently passed a document, a resolution to support the legislative intent of TAC, was it? That doesn't need to be reviewed as a policy. So the number is a little bit smaller than we may have originally done. But our first adventure in will be the two policies I brought for you today. And I apologize, I'm not completely sure what one of the policies looks like in your packet. Debbie can see it the way I intended it. I could not see it the way I intended it, which is why I resent it yesterday. Hopefully you can see some markup on it. If not, I'm happy to send it again. But the first one is policy 370, which is honors and recognitions. And this is the policy basically for naming facilities, chairs, things like that. The main change with this is something I just spoke about. This was listed as a resolution, but as you read it, it's actually a policy. So a lot of the formatting changes that I've proposed are changing it from a resolution to an actual standing policy. And so where there are now sections, that's just the format you have for your board document policies. There was also, in my review, there were some things that the title didn't match what was in the paragraph. So I've renamed some things just to be consistent. That's just a way that I review things. You'll see that as we go through this process. I love to review a document. It is my favorite thing in the world. And the laughter will tell you others know it. One question for discussion is on this, it should be on the second page, but it's under section 2, paragraph B. And this is about the requirements for gift receipt prior to conferring a new facility name. And what it says now is that CTC will make no firm commitment to the naming or even the construction of a new facility until all funds have been raised and or the Board of Trustees has approved the project. The question I wanted to pose to you is whether and or is appropriate. So what that means is that the college could commit to naming something before the board has actually even approved the project with that or in there. And so if it said and, both of those things would need to happen before you would name a facility. And it made a difference in my mind. If it doesn't make a difference to you, I'm happy to leave it the way
I
it
think
is.
it makes a difference.
It does.
Early in my time on the board, we had an issue where a non-board member in well-meaning made a commitment to someone on this particular subject. And we as a board were projected to vote to approve it after it had already been committed. And I think the funds were already provided. And I became the black sheep in the family as I voted no and was criticized. That criticism rolls off my back, but was criticized because I'd voted against the contributor. And that wasn't my point. I was voting because we were violating the policy that we have. So I think it makes a difference as whether we're and or are.
Yes, I think in some respect, it could feel as though the board's hands are tied because of something that happened before you had an opportunity to even review the project. So I can change that to and if everyone agrees. I should have started with this as well. My intent is to get your feedback today, and whatever changes we talk about today, I can bring it back next week for you to approve. We'll pick up a couple new policies next month and just keep going through that process. So if you have any other changes besides something I bring up. But other than that, almost all formatting changes in that policy and title changes. Are there any questions about that policy, 370? Okay. The other policy is this very short one, policy 427 on sponsorships. And this one used some varying terms, and I believe I changed up some of the terms to be consistent through the policy. But the one question on this one is on the second page, just before the adopted and approved language. It gives the board the discretion to allocate the 85% of the total dollar amount budgeted for sponsorship. And then it says the remaining 15% may be awarded by the chancellor. That leaves a little bit of potential for a gap in funding. So if for example, the board only allocated 75%, the chancellor can only allocate 15%. So it's not clear what the intent is for that remaining 10%. If another request came in, would the chancellor need to bring that to the board? Or is it you only go to 75% and you're finished? And I don't know that it's happened when we talked about it, but it does feel like there is potential for a little bit of a gap there. So
What's your recommendation?
I read it in my mind, I read it as your threshold is 85%. The two numbers are hard numbers. So that if the chancellor has met the 15% and you didn't reach your 85, that those requests would be intended to come back to the board.
Correct. That's what I said.
Okay.
And I think I will say, if asked today, if this situation happened today, that's what I would advise the chancellor. I think you need to take that to the board. So my interpretation would have been that, but I'm happy to kind of put some language in there to clear that up, that any unallocated funds originally by the board, because the board does them all in one setting typically.
Unless it hits, I think, is there a $5,000, do you see a $5,000 figure in the policy? I kind of remember 2,500, that's what it is. Then I bring that to the board. So there are instances where I would bring something to the board, like most recently, I brought to you an AUSA sponsorship of $5,000. That's why I remember $5,000.
So anything above that 2,500 will be brought back to the board for approval.
Yes, and that's already in the policy.
Is there an annual call for folks to come to us wanting some form of sponsorship?
Yes, and that's in here, and that's actually one of the changes. Thank you for reminding me. The policy currently says that that they're submitted beginning September 1st, and that the proposed list for sponsorships goes to the board for consideration in October. But what has been happening in practice is it's August. Those come to the board in August,
Okay.
typically with the budget.
Sounds good.
Is there a need to address the gap or no? You just think that clears it up?
I think this was more of an opportunity for me to hear what you all think it meant. I think it hasn't happened, so it's not a terribly pressing issue, but I think
But for
I can
future,
put some
future.
language in there. Understanding if that's the intent of the board, that anything above 15% is beyond the chancellor's purview, that it comes back. I can add that language for next week.
Yes.
I really wanted to hear what your thoughts were on it before I propose some language, but I will have it for you in your packet for next week.
I agree.
And those are the two policies I have.
Thanks,
Any
Tracy.
questions?
Well done.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is to recommend any topics for upcoming agenda items. Mr. Wilkerson?
I just want to say, to anyone who hadn't applied for a scholarship, please apply for a scholarship because it is available. Also, been pushing hard to bring in more students. And I think everyone knows about the student out there who's not sitting on a couch at home. Get them enrolled, get them, push them. Let's go. And it's good to see Impact Aid out here today. You guys always do a great job, represent us well. And I just want to say thank you for what you do and continue to do it. So we also got some other representatives here. That's good to see you. It's good to see. I tell everybody this auditorium should be filled every time because it's important things going on, and not just the city, just not in this area, but in Coryell County. It's everything's going on, and we're a team, one fight, and we got to continue to push forward. That's all I have.
Mr. Manning, welcome to the board.
Thank you.
This is the time in which you have something to say that you would like for us to know about.
Okay. Well, I'd like to say I'm glad to be back on campus. So I spent 4 years on campus, going to CTC and then American Technological University. And I won't say that every minute and time that I spent on campus was productive, but because when my mom would make me go to class on Monday and we didn't want to go, I did spend some Monday mornings sleeping in my car before I went ahead and went to school. But anyway, it is. I have a heart for CTC, and during the campaign, I talked about making CTC a part of your life, and it's been a part of mine. And so I look forward to my role here, and I'm thanking the voters and also offering the public an opportunity give us input. And also, I look forward to being a good PR person for this college. And I think that's my role. And I think I'll be glad to tell my story to any student that wants to hear it. And I've already been pitching high school students to stay home for 2 years and figure out what you want to do at CTC. So, thank you.
Thank you. Rex?
Just say thank you to welcome our 2 new board members, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I've enjoyed it, and get down and get the work done.
Mr. Brushier?
Yes.
Am I saying it right?
Yes, well, close enough.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Well, I thank you all for coming out and seeing me today. I appreciate those of you that came by. I look to catch up on everything we have going on here and working with the chancellor and doing everything we can to better this place to what full potential is. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you.
Eric?
Welcome to our new board members. It's a dynamic event here being on the board. You get to know a lot of folks, and it's a time to relish your opportunities with each other. And for the former board members, I developed a great relationship with y'all, and it doesn't end here. We're neighbors, we're friends, and this is how this board evolves over time, and we all get better in the process. So thank you all, and thank you all.
Thanks, Eric. Brenda?
Welcome to both of you. It's a labor of love. It requires a lot of thoughtfulness, allowing these people to do their jobs and us to be supportive. And we all have one vote. That will suffice. But I want to say to my colleagues that I've worked with all this time, I know we're going to be reorganizing the board, and I won't be here next week. I'm going to be out of town. But I want to thank you for your vote of confidence. Some of you have asked if I'm interested. I feel like where I am is where I need to be as a secretary. I am not interested in moving to another position. I learned when I was KISD president for 3 years. I was on the board for 11 years. I learned that in this seat, I have more opportunities to be who I am and to say what I need to say and to be true to myself than that chancellor position does. I am not interested in changing. So I want to say that to my colleagues and to the audience. It wouldn't be an oversight if my colleagues didn't, if they mentioned me moving to another position or placed me in a position and I'm not here. Wouldn't that be a mess? But I just want to say, when I was the president of KISD board, I never cried so much and prayed as much as I have in a volunteer job. That's a tough job, that chancellor position. So I'm not interested, and I can do more good sitting right here in this chair, and I'll be sitting here for a little while longer. Thank you.
Make reference to our attorney, is it okay to campaign for position as a board member the week before we actually vote?
No.
I heard a little bit of
No.
Secretary.
That's right.
May I say to all of you who came today for a special reason, that is to affirm the 2 new candidates, you're always welcome. And we always have this much fun. And we seldom, but occasionally, just because it's more fun, we do argue about some things. But as Ms. Coley has said, we are 7 independent individual people. I just have the loudest voice because of this chair I sit in, but I have no more authority, no more value than the rest of these. In fact, sometimes a lot less than the rest of these. And so be welcome. This is your community college, and we want to serve you, who are the taxpayers, as well as the students who attend here. And with that, we're adjourned until the meeting next week. Oh, sorry. No, sit back down, Wendy. The board meeting next week on the 17th at 1 p.m. and then the board workshop for June on the 17th. Now, we're through.
Wrong date, sir.
Wrong date.
27th next week.
See, that's why they like me so much in this job. I'll always give them something to laugh about. As she said, now we're adjourned.